Dhari. Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Shri Radha Kalachandji ki, Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki, Shri Shri Radha Govinda ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna to all the devotees assembled in person and online. Kalachandji Dham has an active online audience, so thank you all for lending your ears and hearts. For those who don't know me, my name is Brihat Mridanga Das, and I visit here once a year to assist with the Krishna House project. And grateful to have an opportunity to facilitate a discussion on this amazing Bhagavatam. We're continuing with the section of, well, let me give a little review. So we heard that Indra made a mistake of disrespecting his spiritual master, Brihaspati, and therefore he Hare Krishna. Mike, like the demigods, needed a new priest. So, the devatas approached Vishwarup and asked him to be their spiritual master, and he, while doing the yagyas, was offering some of the results of the yagyas to the asuras because he had a family connection, and so Indra became fearful that the demons would become powerful by this and overtake the demigods. So Indra killed Vishwarup. So first disrespected Brihaspati, his first spiritual master, and then actually killed Vishwarup. And he repented, and he accepted the reaction that came with that, and then distributed it among various places. And then Twashta, the father of Vishwarup, created this great demon, Vritrasura, out of anger to destroy Indra. And the Devatas, attempting to kill Vritrasura, they used all of their divine weapons, and Vritrasura just swallowed them all. Then the Devatas, in fear, approached Lord Vishnu, requesting his protection. So then the Lord appeared in this chapter, and then the Devatas again offered some prayers. And what we will read here is the last few prayers that they offer, and then the Lord's response. That's what will consist of today's discussion. So we are on Canto 6, if you'd like to pull this up on your devices. Chapter 9, the appearance of the demon Vritrasura. Continuing with text 41. Six, 9:41. So the Devatas continue in their prayers here. O Supreme Protector, O Grandfather, O Supreme Pure, O Lord, we are all surrendered souls at your lotus feet. Indeed, our minds are bound to your lotus feet in meditation by chains of love. Now, please manifest your incarnation. Accepting us as your own eternal servants and devotees, be pleased with us and sympathetic toward us. By your love-filled glance, with its cool and pleasing smile of sympathy, and by the sweet nectarian words emanating from your beautiful face, free us from the anxiety caused by this Vritrasura, who always pains the cores of our hearts. Very beautiful prayers. They are tinged with material desire, as Srila Prabhupada highlights in his purports. But still, they're very beautiful. Look at this line. By your love-filled glance, with its cool and pleasing smile of sympathy, and by the sweet nectarian words emanating from your beautiful face. So that part is very beautiful. And then the next part of the sentence, they're asking for a material blessing. Next, verse 42. O Lord, as the small sparks of a fire cannot possibly perform the actions of the whole fire, we sparks of your lordship cannot inform you of the necessities. We sparks of your lordship cannot inform you of the necessities of our lives. You are the complete whole. Therefore, of what do we need to inform you? You know everything, because you are the original cause of the cosmic manifestation, the maintainer and annihilator of the entire universal creation. You always engage in your pastimes with your spiritual and material energies, for you are the controller of all these varied energies. You exist within all living entities, within the cosmic manifestation, and also beyond them. You exist internally as Parabrahman, and externally as the ingredients of the material creation. Therefore, although manifested in various stages, at different times and places, and in various bodies, you, the personality of Godhead, are the original cause of all causes. Indeed, you are the original element. You are the witness of all activities, but because you are as great as the sky, you are never touched by any of them. You are the witness of everything as Parabrahman and Paramatma. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, nothing is unknown to you. I'll just offer my prayers before going on. Om Agyana Timarandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So we see some contradictory elements in these prayers here, that the Devatas are saying that you know everything, and so we don't need to ask you for anything. And then they go on repeatedly asking, please protect us, please help us to kill this great demon, Vritra. And in the previous verse, they were explaining that, or they were stating, we are bound, our minds are bound to your lotus feet in meditation by chains of love. We are all surrendered souls at your lotus feet, but it's a conditional surrender. It's a conditional type of love, right? That I'm approaching you, but I want something from you. And so as we will see in a few verses, the Lord is pleased, but he's much more pleased by the prayers. Actually, not the prayers. He's more pleased by the chastisement of the gopis, by the chastisement of Mother Yashoda, by the arrows of Bhishma Dev on the battlefield, right? So, although these are gorgeous prayers, they're eloquent, so beautiful, Krishna is more pleased with the loving offering from his pure devotees, even if it comes in the form of arrows piercing his body and making him bleed, his transcendental blood, or the chastisement of Mother Yashoda, lovingly chasing him, catching him, tying him to a grinding mortar. This is what Krishna is more pleased by. And in our own practice of devotional service, we can get caught up in the externals. In kirtan, we can get caught up with the instruments. I need to play the mridanga so nicely. I need to sing the raga just right. I need to play the harmonium so expertly. We focus on these details and forget about opening our heart and really just singing for the pleasure of Krishna. Or maybe we are speaking on Bhagavatam and we're so focused on philosophy and logic and quoting verses and appearing like an impressive speaker that we forget that it's all for the pleasure of Radha Kalachandji. So I think this is an important lesson for all of us here, is that even if we can offer beautiful prayers, even if we can do something very expertly, even if we're an expert singer, expert speaker, expert craftsperson, if it's not done with love for Krishna, he will appreciate our offering. And he may even say that he's pleased, like we will see, but he's really much more pleased by even a very simple offering of love. Right? Like in the Gita, what's the famous verse where Krishna explains this concept? Pattaram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhakta prayachati. Tadaham. Third line is? No. That's the last line. Tadaham bhakti uparitam ashnam. Okay, yeah. Ashnami prayatatmana. So twice in this verse he says bhakti, right? It's so important, he emphasizes it twice. Even if it's just a leaf. We offer a mountain of rose petals to Radha Kalachandji on New Year's Day each year, right? Those are leaves. Even if it's just one leaf, Radha Kalachandji will be pleased, but all of the devoted servants of Kalachandji spend thousands of dollars on the most expensive type of leaf that exists. Well, it's a flower. It's actually not a leaf, a petal of a flower. But so Kalachandji is pleased with just one rose petal, and yet we offer him a mountain. What leaf is Krishna most pleased by? Tulsi, yeah. If you give Krishna one tulsi leaf, he's perfectly satisfied, like in the Govardhan Leela. Giriraj was eating everything and saying, Anior, Anior, more, more, more. And then he was finally satisfied only when he had just a little leaf from Tulsi. Because Tulsi Devi, she is devotion personified. So it's so clear we need to simply offer our hearts to Krishna. But if we can do something expertly and with love, all the better. Why not? We shouldn't be lazy and say, oh, you know, I'll just offer my mediocre prayers to Krishna, but I'll do it with so much love. If we have the capacity, or maybe we're very wealthy, and Krishna, I'll give you $1 with so much love. No, if you've got so much, give more. So we can't make excuses in the name of love. Next. 43. Dear Lord, you are omniscient, and therefore you know very well why we have taken shelter at your lotus feet, which provide shade that gives relief from all material disturbances. Since you are the supreme spiritual master, and you know everything, we have sought shelter of your lotus feet for instruction. Please give us relief by counteracting our present distress. Your lotus feet are the only shelter for a fully surrendered devotee, and are the only means for subduing all the tribulations of this material world. Srila Prabhupada gives a beautiful expansion on this analogy. So I'll read the short purport here. One need only seek shelter of the shade of the Lord's lotus feet. Then all the material tribulations that disturb him will be subdued, just as when one comes under the shadow of a big tree, the disturbances caused by the heat of the scorching sun are immediately mitigated without one's asking for relief. Therefore, the whole concern of the conditioned soul should be the lotus feet of the Lord. Very powerful sentence here, huh? Therefore, the whole concern of the conditioned soul should be the lotus feet of the Lord. So when someone asks you what you're concerned about, what are you anxious about today? I'm anxious to get the lotus feet of Kalachandji. That's my concern. We can aspire to have this as our whole concern in life. All I want, all I'm concerned about is getting the shade of the lotus feet of Kalachandji. The conditioned soul suffering from various tribulations because of existing in this material world can be relieved only when he seeks shelter at the Lord's lotus feet. So beautiful expansion of this analogy that when you are in the great heat of Dallas in July and you're outside, then when you walk inside your home, modern day, we don't stand under trees for heat relief. We go inside our nice air-conditioned homes. It's the same thing. The nature of a shady home, an air-conditioned home, is that you'll feel cooled, you'll feel relieved. And like that, the nature of the Lord's lotus feet is when you approach them, you feel relief from all of your material distress. So we seek shelter from our distress in so many ways in our life, through our own intelligence, through money, through sense gratification, through romance, through distractions on social media, right? We seek to find alleviation of our distress in so many ways, except the lotus feet of Krishna. And the nature of all these other things is that we will feel worse, unfortunately. We want relief, and so we go and scroll on social media. We go and binge watch some YouTube videos. And as a result, we feel more distress. We feel more disturbed. But the nature of Krishna's lotus feet is like the nature of a tree, that it provides immediate relief from the heat, even without asking. All we have to do is just approach Krishna. Next, 44. Therefore, O Lord, O Supreme Controller, O Lord Krishna. So now they're directly approaching Krishna. In the Sanskrit, it specifically says, Grastani yena na Krishna. So previously they were speaking to Lord Vishnu. Now they're specifically addressing Lord Krishna. Prabhupada described this in the purport. O Lord Krishna, please annihilate this dangerous demon Vritrasura, Twashta's son, who has already swallowed all our weapons, our paraphernalia for fighting, and our strength and influence. Text 45. Again, they address specifically Krishna. Krishnaya mrishta yashase nirupakramaya. O Lord, O Supreme Pure, You live within the core of everyone's heart and observe all the desires and activities of the conditioned souls. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as Lord Krishna, your reputation is bright and illuminating. You have no beginning, and you are the beginning of everything. You have no beginning, for you are the beginning of everything. This is understood by pure devotees because you are easily accessible to the pure and truthful. Krishna is easily accessible to the pure and truthful. When the conditioned souls are liberated and sheltered at your lotus feet, after roving throughout the material world for many millions of years, they attain the highest success of life. Roving. This makes me think of a moon rover, right? And at least from our vision, the moon appears like a barren rock in the sky. And what is a rover doing? It's just practically aimlessly wandering around on a deserted rock looking for some dust. And Prabhupada criticizes modern science that you go to the moon and all you do is you bring back some rocks. We've got so many rocks here on planet Earth. What's the use of your moon rover? So like that, our material life is like this useless moon rover mission. We're just wandering around in this deserted place looking for some rocks. We think we found something special and all we have is just material, useless things that will be gone in a moment. Therefore, O Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, we offer our respectful obeisances at your lotus feet. Next, 46. Sri Shukadeva, so now the Devatas have concluded their prayers, and we will hear the response. It's amazing. We get to hear the Supreme Personality of Godhead speaking. You know, in the Bible, I don't know how many instances there are of the Lord directly speaking. There's the burning bush, and apparently he spoke through that burning bush. There's perhaps other instances, but in the Bhagavatam, so many instances where the Supreme Lord is directly speaking to his pure devotees, and we get to witness, and it's non-different to hear Srimad Bhagavatam as to actually be there directly. So as we hear the response of the Lord, let's attempt to have this consciousness that we are hearing the Lord directly speaking to the Devatas, who are his devotees. They're not pure devotees. But he is also speaking to all of us. The Lord will instruct us. He'll actually chastise us. So get ready. Sri Shukadeva Goswami continued, O King Parikshit, when the demigods offered the Lord their sincere prayers in this way, the Lord listened by his causeless mercy. Being pleased, he then replied to the demigods. So isn't that sweet? Even if we're offering prayers that are tinged with material desire, or even if we're just straight up asking Krishna for material things, unashamedly, he's listening. And he's pleased. Why is he pleased? Because we're approaching him. Just like a child, their parents are pleased if the child approaches them, even if they're asking for some material thing. So no matter what, if we approach Krishna, then Krishna is pleased. But how do we really please Krishna? That's what he will instruct us here. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O beloved demigods, you have offered your prayers to me with great knowledge, and I am certainly most pleased with you. A person is liberated by such knowledge, and thus he remembers my exalted position, which is above the conditions of material life. Such a devotee is fully purified by offering prayers in full knowledge. This is the source of devotional service to me. So by offering prayers to the Lord, even if they're imperfect, we become purified. Just like no matter what the substance is, any liquid will, in the presence of the sun's rays, have pure distilled water extracted by the purity of the sun. Even if it's a sewage, even if it's the most contaminated, still, the sun will extract pure distilled water. So Krishna is like that. No matter how we approach him, He's Bhava Grahi Janardana. He takes the essence. He knows what's in our heart, and he'll find any excuse to find the good in our little offering. Text 48. O best of the intelligent demigods, although it is true that nothing is difficult for one to obtain when I am pleased with him, a pure devotee whose mind is exclusively fixed upon me does not ask me for anything but the opportunity to engage in devotional service. So the Lord is correcting the mentality of the devatas here. He's saying, yes, you're able to get material things from me, but really one who's pure, they don't ask me for anything except, Krishna, please let me serve you. Just like when we're chanting Hare Krishna, when we're chanting our japa, when we're doing kirtan, Srila Prabhupada gives us the simple meditation. O Lord Krishna, O energy of Krishna, please engage me in your service. This is a prayer of pure devotional service. So the Lord is mildly chastising the devatas, and now he'll get even stronger. So we'll do the Sanskrit for this. So please repeat after me. Na Veda Kripana Shreya Atmano Gunavastudrik Tasyatan Ichato Yached Yadi Sopi Tatha Vidha Naveda Kripana Shreya Atmano Gunavastudrik Tasyatan Ichato Yached Yadi Sopi Tatha Vidha Naveda Kripana Shreya Atmano Gunavastudrik Tasyatan Ichato Yached Yadi Sopi Tatha Vidha. Please go ahead. Naveda Kripana Shreya Tasyatan Ichato Yached Iso Pitata Vidha Naveda Kripana Shreya Atmano Gunavastudrik Tasyatan Ichato Yached Yadi Sopi Tatha Vidha Veda Kripana Shreya Atmano Gunavastudrik Yatan Ichato Yached Yadi Sopi Tatha Vidha. Naveda Kripana Shreya Atmano Gunavastudrik Tasyatan Ichato Yached Sopi Tatha Vidha. Thank you all. So word for word. Na, not. Veda, knows. Kripana, a miserly living entity. Shreya, the ultimate necessity. Atmana, of the soul. Guna Vastudrik, who is attracted by the creation of the modes of material nature. Tasya, of him. Tan, things created by the material energy. Ichata, desiring. Yachet, one bestows. Yadi, if. Sa api, he also, tata vidha, of the kind, a foolish kripana, who does not know his real self-interest. Shri Shri Radha Kalachandji ki jai. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Lord continues, those who think material assets to be everything, or to be the ultimate goal of life, are called misers, kripanas. They do not know the ultimate necessity of the soul. Moreover, if one awards that which is desired by such fools, he must also be considered foolish. So the Lord is calling them fools. Oh, Devatas, you're approaching me. I can give you anything. I can give you the highest thing that will ultimately please you and make you so satisfied, and yet you're asking for pieces of broken glass, as Dhruva Maharaj poetically speaks. Purport. There are two classes of men, namely the Kripana and the Brahmana. A Brahmana is one who knows Brahman, the absolute truth, and who thus knows his real interest. A Kripana, however, is one who has a material, bodily concept of life. Not knowing how to utilize his human or demigod life, a Kripana is attracted by things created by the material modes of nature. The Kripanas, who always desire material benefits, are foolish, whereas Brahmanas, who always desire spiritual benefits, are intelligent. If a Kripana, not knowing his self-interest, foolishly asks for something material, one who awards it to him is also foolish. So sometimes when I'm reading Prabhupada's books, maybe more than sometimes, I can think, oh yeah, Prabhupada's speaking to those fools. I'm a Brahmana. I'm not one of them. I know that I just want pure devotional service. But no, Prabhupada's speaking to me. Prabhupada's, the Lord, Srila Prabhupada, they're calling me a fool. So this may not be true for everyone listening, but I wanted to share it from my own experience that we can sometimes detach and just read this as if it's interesting philosophy for someone else. And yeah, I'll go preach this to the mudhas or the kripanas. But no, this may well apply to some of us. Krishna, however, is not a foolish person. He is supremely intelligent. If someone comes to Krishna asking for material benefits, Krishna does not award him the material things he desires. Instead, the Lord gives him intelligence, so that he will forget his material desires and become attached to the Lord's lotus feet. In such cases, although the Kripana offers prayers to Lord Krishna for material things, the Lord takes away whatever material possessions the Kripana has and gives him the sense to become a devotee. This is such an amazing purport. As stated by the Lord in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami giving us the mind, revealing the mind of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Lord Krishna. This is what the Lord is thinking in relation to his not yet perfected devotees. The Lord says, "Since I am very intelligent, why should I give this fool material prosperity? Instead, I shall induce him to take the nectar of the shelter of my lotus feet and make him forget illusory material enjoyment." This is now Prabhupada's commentary. If one sincerely prays to God for material possessions in exchange for devotional service, the Lord, who is not foolish like such an unintelligent devotee, shows him special favor by taking away whatever material possessions he has and gradually giving him the intelligence to be satisfied only by rendering service to his lotus feet. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments in this regard that if a foolish child requests his mother to give him poison, the mother, being intelligent, will certainly not give him poison, even though he requests it. A materialist does not know that to accept material possessions means to accept poison, or the repetition of birth and death. An intelligent person, a Brahmana, aspires for liberation from material bondage. That is the real self-interest of a human being. Such an amazing purport, huh? So Krishna knows our interest, and he's supremely qualified to give us what is best for us. And he loves us, he cares for us more than anyone ever possibly could fathom or replicate. I was thinking that a helpful analogy, two helpful analogies, are that of a prison and a hospital. I'm sure we've heard this a number of times. But I was thinking that someone who's a prisoner, they may get special awards for being a good prisoner, right? You can maybe have a few hours a day access to the library, or maybe you get some kind of responsible role, maybe you even get some stipend or some benefits you get, although you're still within the walls of the prison house. And in this analogy, imagine that the prisoner is actually the son of the president. And so one day the president comes and visits the prison, and the prisoner has been in a fight with his cellmate. Maybe his cellmate is fashioning some weapon out of some, they do this in prison, they make some illegal weapons, and so his cellmate is attacking him. And so the prisoner's father comes and what can I do for you, my son? Just help me with this fight. Just please, my cellmate is causing me so much trouble. Please just help me to overcome this. And what a foolish request. The son, if he really wanted, the father could get him out of his whole prison situation, and he's just asking him for relief within the prison. So that's what the demigods are doing here, right? Is that they're saying, they're not saying it directly, but their intention is, we're really attached to our positions as demigods. We're attached to the enjoyment of being very powerful, influential, wealthy, and we want to stay in that situation. So please help us kill Vritra so that we can resume our enjoyment in this position. Fortunately, Krishna knows what's best for us, and we have to simply develop this understanding that Krishna is like the supreme doctor. So now in the hospital example, if you are in the hospital for treatment, if the doctor comes and says, we're going to do a surgery, we're going to cut your body open, or we're going to give you some very bitter medicine, you don't complain about it. You say, okay, I want to be healthy, so be it. That's what I need. You have faith in the doctor. So like that, Krishna is the supreme doctor. He knows exactly what we need. And so everything in our life is arranged by Krishna for our healing in this material hospital, or for our reformation from this material imprisonment. Fortunately, even though we're not always so intelligent to recognize this, Krishna is. He is supremely intelligent, and he says that even if someone approaches him with impure desires, then he will give them what they need, though it can be painful. That's our challenge in devotional life, is that our path is full of tribulations and trials, and we don't always like the situations we're in. Maybe there's a difficult person in our life. Maybe there's a health crisis in our life. Maybe there's family issues, money issues. Anyone have any of these issues by chance? Maybe multiple at the same time. Maybe there's a war that breaks out. Maybe there's, who knows, all sorts of things can happen at any point. But if we are giving our lives to Krishna, if we are offering ourselves to Krishna each day, approaching him, then everything that's happening in our life is his special arrangement for us, for our purification. So it's easy for me to say this, but am I really strong enough to handle the challenges when they come. Like in the pastime of Narada Muni, he's an exemplary lesson for us in the first canto, that his mother is bitten by a serpent and he has no father, and he, at 5 years old, is now an orphan. And what does he do? He immediately resolves, he says this is the Lord's arrangement, and he resolves to go north. He becomes a sannyasi at 5 years old. Prabhupada writes there in the commentary, this is the Lord's way of dragging a sincere soul nearer to God, nearer to himself. So Krishna may have to drag us. Krishna can hold our hand and walk us back to Godhead very gently, if we are willing to do that. Or he will, out of his great compassion, he'll still hold our hand, but we'll be kicking and screaming, and he'll be dragging us through the dirt. So, one way or another, if we are approaching Krishna each day, we will eventually come back to Krishna. It's just how long do we want to continue in this material world? There's so much more we could discuss on this incredible verse and purport. Let me see how many verses we have. So I'll just summarize, because I'd like to have some discussion and hear from the rest of you. So one more instruction the Lord says here that's very relevant, and then I'll summarize. A pure devotee who is fully accomplished in the science of devotional service will never instruct a foolish person to engage in fruitive activities for material enjoyment, not to speak of helping him in such activities. So a real guru is one who teaches to approach Krishna, not to have enjoyment in the material world. Such a devotee is like an experienced physician who never encourages a patient to eat food injurious to his health, even if the patient desires it. And then the Lord goes on to say that, O Indra, please approach Dadichi Muni. He is very powerful. His body is very powerful due to his austerities, and he's also a pure devotee. And he will give up his body for you, and out of his bones you can make this thunderbolt weapon by which to overcome, to kill Vritrasura. And he says that he will give it because of affection. Really amazing. So we'll discuss that next week, the incredible surrender, full Atmanivedanam of Dadichi Muni, giving up his life for even a material cause, because this is what the Lord desires. So there we will conclude our presentation here, and I'd like to hear, because it's such a wonderful topic, this topic is so relevant for all of us at any level of devotional service. So I'd like to hear some reflections. If we can get a microphone. For now, I'll just pass around this one. Thoughts, reflections, questions, criticisms.
Haribo. I don't even know what my point is, but I was just thinking as a kid, I would hear all of this, like, if you pray, Krishna's going to take it away if he loves you. So I got really scared to make prayers. And whatever prayers I made, they were very specific. And I was like, if you so desire, please could you help me with this? If it doesn't affect this or this or this in my life. Like, I was so scared. I was so nervous. I was like, okay, I want this, but I'm not ready to lose anything else. Like, I don't know. That's just my point. And I'm still working on that. I'm still working on not being as scared making prayers.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your mind. And yeah, I think we all experience that, or we may experience this at different degrees, that we don't have full confidence that Krishna will protect us. Like we were just in Govardhan hearing from Burijan Prabhu, and he was explaining why we're afraid of surrendering to Krishna. Because, well, if I just do everything for Krishna, then who's going to take care of me? We're so concerned with our own protection. We don't yet have confidence that if I just give myself 100% to Krishna, he will 100% take care of me. but his care for me won't look like what I think that care should look like. Or it may not look like that all the time. Yeah, thank you for sharing, Draupadi. Drishta?
I appreciated your analogy, though you said we must have heard it before. I actually don't think I've heard that one before.
I extended the analogy a bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it was
The basic idea of a prison and a hospital. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, it was interesting because, like, please help me with this prison mate. He gave me so much distress and stuff like that. And I don't know. I often do like ask for help for the little things. More so, I feel perhaps it's out of honesty that like. Anyways, yeah, just how do we navigate that? Should we stop? Should we somehow muster up some kind of higher prayer, or like, or do we like fake it till we make it type?
Yeah, like we've in our family or in our service or work, we may have a difficult personality, and it's different though. It's a different context. Like your service is specifically in Krishna House, and so someone like the demigods, they're wanting to keep their position in the material world. So maybe if we're attached to our position, like I'm a leader in this project, that is unfavorable. But if it's for the sake of making Krishna House a better place for spiritual upliftment, I need empowerment. Lord, please help me so I can best work with these people here, with these devotees, for their benefit and for the benefit of the whole community. That's different. That's a prayer within the realm of our service. But then we also acknowledge that maybe, Lord, you just want this challenging person to be in my life because I've got some lesson to learn. So if you so desire, I'm willing to tolerate the challenge of being with this person. I'm saying person as an example of. So does this make sense? It's a different context. We're not trying to keep our position in the material world. We're trying to do our service to please Krishna. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That's helpful. I was thinking perhaps another follow-up question would be like, we do have these services which are important, and we are praying to Krishna for fulfilling them or for helping us with them and things like that. But I guess how do we tiptoe the line so that because we still have to acknowledge that this service will end at some point, and that we actually have an eternal service, and we actually have a position in the spiritual world, and that we shouldn't exactly hold on to even if it's our service in the material world. Yeah, how do we, I don't know, not put too, like, we might forget to pray to go back to Godhead because we're so immersed in our current service. Is that all right? Should we have a healthy detachment or something?
I mean, if you can be fully absorbed in the service that your spiritual master has given you, then that's the perfection of life. And there's no need to pray to go back to Godhead because it's for sure you're going to go. So, no worries, yeah. Krishna, even if we forget to pray to go back to Godhead, he's gonna be so pleased with your service that he will bring you back as quickly as possible. Any other reflections, additions to what I've shared?
Hare Krishna Prabhu,
Hare
thank you
Krishna.
for a very nice class. To just continue this theme, you mentioned that Indra was attached to his position. I missed it. Was it? It looked like Vritrasura was after them for life. Like they attacked him and he swallowed their weapons. So was he not trying to attack them or kill them?
Yes.
So killing is not just a position. That means a threat to life. So then we're saying, I've heard from devotees like first health, then sadhana, then service. this is not sadhana or service. This is life,
Right.
not even just like good health. No,
Yeah.
I'm being totally eliminated.
Right.
So then it's like the ask is like, be like Prahlad Maharaj, you're being thrown in fire, but don't ask anything, just pray for, that is the expectation here, that Krishna is saying, when I'm pleased with him, a pure devotee whose mind is, does not ask me for anything but the opportunity to be engaged.
Right. Yeah.
So then, but then of course after that he still tells them, okay, now you can get a weapon from this way. So he's saying, this is the standard I'm expecting. So basically, don't even ask for help, right?
Well, yeah, it's different because the intention. So like a devotee, they'll be walking on the streets of Dallas, and if a criminal approaches, they're not just going to say, "Oh Lord, whatever you want," and just throw up their hands. No, they're so attached to doing their service. Oh no, what if maybe they're not exactly thinking this in that moment, but in their heart, who will dress Kalachanji tomorrow? I have a service to do. And so we want to maintain our life so we can go on with our service. So yes, we pray to the Lord. And actually in the fifth canto, in the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj to Nrsimhadev, Srila Prabhupada points out there that a devotee, they can pray for protection of their body. I need to go and find the exact reference, but it's generally, this is the idea, for the sake of continuing on their service. That's within the realm of pure devotional service, is we want to maintain our body so we can serve the Lord. Does that make sense? Yeah, so the devatas, they want to maintain their material positions. They're attached to the enjoyment of being opulent, of being powerful. So that's the difference. Yeah. So I want to go on with my service, but when you want me to go, Lord, you take me. That is the standard we're striving for. Thank you. Other reflections?
Hare Krishna,
Hare
good morning.
Krishna.
I was just thinking before she asked, or for her comment, that I don't know if this is out of context also, but I think that when in some instances that I have been trying to surrender, I don't know what's your take, but it seems like people don't understand that maybe you are being kind or, polite, and they take it for weakness, and it seems like they could be maybe taking advantage of.
Yeah, so the question is, we are trying to surrender to Krishna, we're trying to be loving to everyone, and yet some people will take advantage of our kindness and will hurt us or exploit us. Right. So as we progress, we learn to differentiate between different people and interact with them differently. So like, for example, we love tigers because they're spirit souls, but we're not going to go and hug a tiger. So there are people who will hurt us, and we love them from a distance. And we don't retaliate. We may defend ourselves if they're attacking us. Or if they're verbally attacking us, we may just leave. Or we may have to be strong. So surrendering to Krishna doesn't mean we just let anyone do anything they want. We have to know how to interact with different types of people. So just briefly, there's 4 categories, and a mature devotee knows that there are envious people, inimical people, and we avoid them. A mature devotee recognizes there are innocent people in the world, and we try to lend a hand and help them, giving them prasadam, inviting them to Kalachandji's restaurant, giving them a book. A mature devotee recognizes that there are other mature devotees, and they make friendship with them. try to serve them. And a mature devotee recognizes Krishna is the supreme object of love, so all of my loving affection goes for Krishna, and by extension to all other beings, but that manifests in these three other ways. Does that make sense? Thank you for your thoughtful question. Anything else you all would like to share? Thank you for your kind attention and for this opportunity to share something on Srimad Bhagavatam. Vritrasura ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.